Today is part 2 of our series on the concentric circles of belief. In this discussion, we are going to ask if the assumptions of the model presented in part 1 are biblical, which is a fair point to consider. We should want our framework for viewing and categorizing the scriptures to be supported by the scriptures. Because we hold on to the authority of scripture, that it is the clear and accurate communication from God towards humanity. So let's start in the center of the circle with the area of absolutes. All right, again, absolutes. These define the core beliefs of the Christian faith, right? What you must believe, or at least not deny, in order to be saved. As a category for belief, this one is pretty easy to see in Scripture. I think of a popular verse like Romans 10:9. It says, if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Right? This verse is part of that broader Romans road, which is certainly worth your time to look at and be familiar with. And in this verse, it is a clear statement of an absolute. Right? Do this and you will be saved. So we know that absolutes are in the scriptures, but which ones do we need to believe in order to be saved? Is a verse like Romans 10:9 really enough? Speaking of Romans 10:9, yes, I think Romans 10:9 is indeed enough for salvation, at least as the first step of salvation. When I share the gospel with somebody, this verse is a great starting point. It's what I use to share with my children or with my mentally handicapped aunt. So for my mentally handicapped aunt, Romans 10:9 was a starting point and really an ending point. She isn't going to understand much more about God even as she attends church, right? She is most excited about the singing and the donuts. But for my children or adults, a statement like Romans 10:9 is a starting point because there is a context for this verse, important context that we need to understand and affirm if we are going to have a meaningful walk with Christ. Hence, it is a good first step. Well, what is the fuller context and a fuller explanation of the absolutes we must believe in order to be saved? The historic Christian churches sought to answer this question by writing the Apostles' Creed, which was written in the earliest forms in the 2nd century, so the 100s. You can find the text on a website called gotquestions.org with an article titled, What is the Apostles' Creed? Right? And it has the text of the Apostles' Creed and notes 2 phrases in it that Protestants might have a question over. For baptisms at Hopewell, our church, we walk through and affirm the Apostles' Creed for those seeking baptism as a way to get at the center circle, the absolutes. And as a bonus, if you want a different statement of the same truths, you can again go back to gotquestions.org and they have another article entitled, What are the Essentials of the Christian Faith? It includes things like the deity of Christ, salvation by grace, salvation through Jesus Christ alone, the resurrection of Christ, the gospel, monotheism, and the Holy Trinity. Now, Christianity is simply recognizing and accepting true things. It's really what it's about. And God is clear to us on what we must accept about reality to receive the forgiveness and restoration God desires for us. And Satan and his powers of this world try very hard to deny these realities and others and to convince us that they are deceptions, that they're matters of opinion, or simply one version of reality. 2 Peter 2:1 is one of the many places in Scripture that warn against false prophets, saying this, But false prophets also arose among the people, just as there will be false teachers among you, who will secretly bring in destructive heresies, even denying the master who bought them, bringing upon themselves swift destruction. See, having a firm grasp of the essentials or the absolutes of the Christian faith is critical. It's critical if we are going to spot and avoid false teachers that still exist in the world today. False teachers and lies that will destroy your salvation. And I would encourage you to take a few minutes and look at the linked resources to get a better grasp of the center of the circle. With that being said, I want to say thank you for watching part 2 of our series on the concentric circles of belief. Now, next time we're going to discuss the area of convictions to see if that is in the scriptures. We'll see you then. This video has been a ministry of Hopewell United Brethren Church in Auburn, Indiana. If you're in the area looking for a church home, we'd love to get to know you. Our website link is in the description.